Reports. Sussana Frame, welcome to Nuclear Hot Seat.
Oh, thanks for having me.
You've been with King 5 in Seattle for more than 2 decades, and this is a broadcast television station. When did they first start covering the Hanford site, and how did you become involved in the coverage?
Well, I'm assuming that years before I got here, they were covering Hanford in terms of, on an environmental beat. The Pacific Northwest is all about the outdoors and the environment, and we've always had an environmental specialist, and we still do. And so occasionally when there would be, milestones hit at Hanford or new technology developed, an environmental specialist would go over and cover it. But this is the first time that I know of that someone in an investigative capacity has gone over and decided to shake things up. In the time that I've been there, I think I'm the first investigative reporter to try to take on portions of Hanford.
And are you referring to yourself as the first investigative reporter for King 5 or in general in Washington State?
In the time I've been here, I haven't seen any broadcast investigative units doing anything. Maybe the Seattle Times has done a little bit, but in general, it's kind of been ignored in terms of investigative reporting, which, as you know, is different than daily news reporting.
In putting together the sources that you need to get the stories that you're doing, is this from inside the facility? Is this written material that is on file with the government? Is it whistleblowers? How are you getting your information?
The only reason I got involved was one guy, and his name is Mike Guthrie, and he's not a confidential source. Obviously, I just said his name. He's been on the air with us. He is a current employee. He's been there 26 years. What I like to do is choose one topic a year to really get into and try to make an impact. And this year, unbeknownst to me, before the beginning of March, my project this year was going to be Hanford. But this is a true story. On February 28th, last day of February, our investigative unit, of which there's 5 of us in our unit, 3 reporters, a producer, and a photographer, we had a meeting, and it was like a story pitch meeting, and we had a new boss, a new producer, and he was just saying, what do you think is important community topics that we should be covering, kind of think about as we move forward into the spring. And we were talking about Sandy Hook and gun control and mental illness and all sorts of different community issues. And then I said, gosh, there's got to be something we could start uncovering at Hanford. I go, I think that's the biggest story around. And the reason I mentioned it is because our governor, Jay Inslee, newly elected, had just been to Hanford, taken a big, well-publicized tour of it, and made an announcement with the Department of Energy, which the federal government agency that runs Hanford, that some of our single-shell underground nuclear waste tanks were leaking. So it had been on the front page of the papers. Our environmental specialist had been covering it, and it was like, that is bad. And I really didn't know much about Hanford at all. I just really think we got to do something. And so there was one reporter in our unit that really didn't have a project, and so we left the meeting, a big project she was focusing on. We left the meeting